In today's video, we're having a look at 3 new Parkside wire strippers. We are also comparing them to this older Parkside model, this Wiha cable cutter, and the Knipex 6-in-1 installation pliers. I've had this Parkside cable stripper for a few years now. It came in a set with a lot of crimp connectors. Lidl still sells it, but the handles are green now. It's self-adjusting and can strip wire from 0.2 to 6 square millimeters. The wire cutting part is basic to say the least, but it's there and it's usable. As you can see, it hurts the coating a bit, but other than that, it does a great job. This is a common design that many manufacturers offer, and that can also crimp many styles of connectors. First, let's test it with these terminal pins. This is 2.5 square millimeter wire. It does a great job crimping it. No matter how hard I pull on it, it won't come off, which is how a proper crimping is supposed to be. Now let's see how the famous and expensive Knipex performs when crimping. It definitely looks better. But it comes out without effort. That's because the jaws on the Knipex are smooth, without a texture to grip the wire. These are the insulated crimp connectors that came in the set with the Parkside pliers. And it does a great job crimping them. Overall, it is a cheap, simple tool that does what it's supposed to do. Now let's have a look at the newer models, starting up with these cable cutters. They can strip wire from 1 to 4 square millimeters. The 3 main functions are wire stripping, terminal crimping and cable cutting. They are made by Walter, which also makes the Parkside Torque wrenches. I really like the anodized looking finish on these pliers. What I don't like is this weird spring they used on this particular model. I also am not a big fan of using green coloured handles on an electrical tool, and I don't think they are supposed to move like that. Also, what's with the pointy ends? It sits weird in the hand and it's not a tool you are going to pull towards you anyway. I don't know if you believe me, but this was not staged in any way. It surprised me too. I guess the spring came loose because of the moving handle. It is an easy fix and some glue should take care of this, but it's a bit disappointing for this to happen right out of the box. Anyway, back to testing the tool. First with some cable cutting. This is 3 by 1.5 square millimeters solid core wire, and it cuts it no problem. The Knipex takes a lot less effort to cut it though. Now let's test some wire stripping. First 1.5 square millimeters. And it does a great job, fully cutting the coating but not hurting the wire strands. Out of the 3 new models, this does the best job at wire stripping. It is a bit tight on 2.5 square millimeters wire, but it still doesn't cut the copper strands. It also does a great job on 4 square millimeters wire, and it's also the only one of the 3 that can strip more than 2.5 square millimeters. The Knipex was not designed for this size of wire, but if you are careful, it does a good enough job on it. Now let's see how the Parkside performs on crimping terminals. Looks good, but it is not very tight. On the second try, I tightened it as much as I could, which produced a better crimp, but it still came out. Not as easy as the previous one, but still not perfect. Overall, I don't know what to say about these pliers. They offer some great functionality, but the spring choice is still weird and the crimping is so and so. The second pair of cable cutters offers scissors as their main feature, which are popular among the electricians in Italy and Spain. They have a maximum stripping capacity of 2.5 square millimeters. Same as the previous model, it can strip wires, it can crimp terminals and can cut cables. Also made by Walter. It has many more spaces for stripping wires, but they have uncommon dimensions like 1.3, 1.6 and 2.6 square millimeters. The handles have the same green and pointy ends, but they seem well fixed in place this time, and the spring is better located on these ones. They can cut cable no problem, it just takes a little more force than the Knipex to do it. We'll have a comparison between all of them at the end of the video. But they do a much better job than these cheap electrician scissors from Dexter. Much better. The weird sizes make it difficult to choose the proper hole for common 1.5 square millimeters wire, and they also don't perform very well, as you will see. As you can see, in some slots it rips the copper strands. In others, it's not enough to cut through the insulation, requiring a lot of force to strip the wire. This also happens for 2.5 square millimeters wire. The 2mm slot cuts strands from the wire, and the 2.6mm one can't properly cut through insulation. Even though it was not designed for 4 square millimeters wire, it does a decent job on it. When it comes to crimping terminals, it does a better job than the previous model. It moves a little, but it doesn't come off. Look at the gap difference in the crimping slots between the two models. The scissor one is much tighter. That's why it crimps better than the other two. Just like the one before, this one has good parts and bad parts. The scissors are fine for people that like working with them. The crimping is adequate, but the wire stripping part leaves much to be desired. The third pair of stripping pliers is the one I had my highest hopes on. You'll see why in a minute. Like the one before, it has the weird sizes for wire stripping, up to 2.6 square millimeters. Again, the functions are stripping, crimping and cutting. Also made by Walter. Same anodized looking finish with laser etched markings for each slot. Same weird sizes for the stripping slots. Same large gaps that will provide poor crimping for terminals. Same green handles with pointy ends. Unlike the ones before, it was only designed to cut wires, not cables. It will cut them in a pinch, but it will not do a great job. It has the same issues as the scissor model when it comes to wire stripping. Too many slots with weird sizes that either pull copper strands or don't cut the insulation enough. This is the worst result yet. Again, it does a better job on the 4 square millimeters wire it was not designed for. The gaps in the crimping slots are in an even worse shape than the first model, so I expect the performance to be just as bad. A bonus feature on this particular model is that it has jaws just like a regular pair of installation pliers, which offers a wider variety of potential uses. Overall, this would have been a great pair of pliers to have around the house, if only the stripping and crimping slots would have been built better. Now you're going to see a poor imitation of Project Farm, in which I am comparing the force required to cut 6 square millimeters wire using my bathroom scale. The Knipex averaged around 6 to 7 kilograms of force. This are the Wiha cable cutters, and are my favourites when it comes to wire cutting and stripping. They averaged around 4 kilograms of force. Compared to the previous two, the Parkside are a disaster, requiring more than 3 times the force to cut through the wire, around 12 kilograms of force. The scissors version performed almost identical. A big surprise came from the last pair, which averaged 3 to 4 kilograms of force, a bit better than the Wiha and way better than the Knipex. If only it would have been built better, and with red handles. As a conclusion, if you work with these kind of insulated terminals, then the best choice is the classic wire stripper. These cable cutters are not my favourite, mainly because of the spring and the fact that the crimping slots are so loose. The choice remains between these two. I really like the jaws on the last pair, and I'm not a big fan of scissors when it comes to electrical work. But the scissors had the best crimping slots of all of them, and also can cut cable. Tough choice. What do you think?